Hey friends, so I'm super excited about this project I'm going to show you today. These Christmas prints are in my Etsy shop, so the link to that will be below this video. And there's a whole bunch of vintage Santas and poinsettias and lanterns and all kinds of fun Christmas prints. But anyway, I enlarged one and put some text on it. And it says he's making a list and checking it twice. And I got this cutting board at a thrift store the other day, and I just love it. So we're going to make it up really, really cute. So we're going to start off by using Crimson Chalk Paint by Waverly. And I'm going to paint the sides, and then we'll work on the front, well, the sides and the back, and then I'll give it a dry, and then we'll work on the front, just the border part. I'm not going to paint the inside middle part because that's where I'm going to Mod Podge the print onto. But it's got this arched area in the middle that's got a groove all around it. And so it's just really, really cute, a really unique type of cutting board. So I painted the sides, as you can see. I'm going to give them a quick dry. And then I'll turn it over and finish the back and dry that. And I'm just using a foam dauber that I got at the Dollar Tree. It just works great. And I love Waverly chalk paints. They go on nice and smooth and give good coverage. This is kind of my go-to red. I really like this. It's a really good and pretty Christmas red. So I dried the back, and now, like I said, I'm going to paint that, just the outside edges around that grooved area. And I'm being very careful not to get any paint on the middle section. And it probably wouldn't show if I had, but I just didn't want any to show underneath my print. Okay, and I'm going to dry that now with my heating tool, which is really pretty quick and easy. Now I'm going to put Mod Podge in that center section, and I'm very careful not to get any on the red paint because I don't want my print to stick to that part, just the inside part. So I'm spreading it slowly and just making sure I get every little edge of that area covered. And then I will dry that with my heating tool as well. I like this technique of Mod Podge to dry the Mod Podge first, because then you get lots less wrinkles with it. The prints go on so much smoother. So now I'm just setting it just exactly where I want it to sit in that area, putting Mod Podge over the top and using my little mini travel iron. Just getting that whole area, making sure all the edges are down and adhered. And now I'm going to sand the excess off, and I started out using this little sanding block that I got at the Dollar Tree. And it was kind of hard to get into that little grooved area, so then I tried a little nail file. That didn't work as well as I thought it would. So I went back to this, and then I ended up using my little gator sander, and this worked the best for me to get that paper off. And once I get the whole edges scuffed off or scraped off, then I'm going to take a small little paintbrush and use that same red paint to dab all around in that groove and paint it all around the edge of that paper. Oh, that's right. Before I do that, though, I use my Distressing ink by Tim Holtz. It's in the color Vintage Photo, and I'm just lightly going around the edges because there was kind of some white fuzzy edges, and I just wanted it to blend and a little bit better and look a little more vintage, I suppose. But I'm loving how this is looking so far. So here's where I just grab a small little brush and the rest of that paint sitting there and just go in that groove all the way around. And I also get the top little hole, the inside of that hole on the handle of the cutting board. And it looks so pretty. So now I'm using my twine, and I'm just going to glue it on the back, and I'm going to go around quite a few times and put a bunch of rows of twine around the handle. And I don't go all the way up to the top. I just get that middle section. So I just put a few small dabs of glue periodically, and I keep pushing them up so they're right next to each other. Then I'll put a little more glue just to make sure it stays where I want it to stay. Just keep, as I go around, making sure it stays in where I want it to stay. Then I just cut it off and sealed that end in the back with hot glue. And now I've got these Christmas picks that I got on Amazon, and they have pine and pine cones and berries on it. So I'm just I took one of them and I'm gluing right on top of the twine and having it kind of point downwards at an angle. And then I'm going to take more twine. I'll leave a little bit of length on that one edge, and I go round and round again over the top of that, the end of that pick. And I leave it long enough on both sides to tie a knot. And once I get a tight knot knotted, then I will tie a bow. And I'll leave the long tails for a minute till I'm ready to cut those down. And so I started out, I was going to make a tag with these rub-on transfers that I got on Amazon. They are so cute, and they would be perfect on a lot of things, but they ended up not working out for my tag. They're very sticky, and so when I went to pull off the backing, it would pull up part of the chipboard too, off the chipboard tag. Not chipboard, the craft paper tag. And that one I accidentally tore as I was peeling it off. So I cut another one out, and then this one is the one that just really stuck too hard to the craft paper cardstock. So I set that aside. I could quickly tell that that wasn't going to work. Here's where I could tell it wasn't going to work. So I have these others, Christmas tags in all kinds of phrases, and that I printed on my computer. I made on my computer and printed off. And so I'm going to use one of those. But first I'm adding some more twine. So I just took some more twine and wrapped it several times around all my fingers, and then gathered it in the center and wrapped the end around that center. And I'm going to glue that right in the center of that bow that's on there. I just want a lot more loops. I wanted the bow to be more full. I'm just using my scissors to hold it down until that glue sets, and fluffing the loops where I want them. So I decided to do my tag first. So I'm going to go around the edges and distress it with my distress ink, just lightly. I'm not going too crazy with it, but just defining those edges. And then I'm just going to glue it on underneath some of the loops of that bow. And it just says ho ho. And now I've got these rusty jingle bells that I got on Amazon, and I'm tying one on each end of those tails of the bow that are hanging down. And so I tie the first one, and then I wanted the other one not the same, hanging down the same length. And I struggled trying to get it at different lengths. I just wanted to kind of keep hanging about the same length as the other one, and I wanted them offset from each other. But I finally get it, and it works out great. So now that I've got those tied on, I'm just putting a little bit of hot glue on the knots so they don't fray and they don't come untied. And I just think that just made the project. And so I thought, well, now we need a button. And first I start out with this bigger round button. Thought it was a little too big. So then I grab a smaller one. Then I remembered I have these green and red heart. So I'm going to put a green heart right in the center of that twine bow. And it just is the perfect ending. It just ties it all together, those greens and reds and browns, and I love it. So that is it for this project. I hope this inspires you to make something similar. Go to your thrift stores and find the neatest wood surfaces and make projects like this. So fun and easy. And thank you for watching. I really appreciate the support. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And you have a whimsical day. Thank you.